Hey guys, it's Chris Wong. For this video, I'd like to talk about my new plans with my margin account and a joint account I'm trying to build up. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy who's interested in building a portfolio and trying to achieve financial independence to retire early. So in the last video, I talked about getting margin calls due to MicroStrategy going down. And for this video, I'd like to talk more about my plans going forward with my margin account and a joint account. So with the margin account, I actually decided to not buy any more shares on any of my margin accounts going forward. So if any opportunities happen, I'm okay to withdraw some cash in the future as my dividends keep paying down the margin. So when I withdraw cash out of margin, I can use that to either buy things within reasonable and also use that money to fund a joint account. I would say seeing my last month's dividends and seeing how dangerous the potential margin calls can get when the account gets bigger. And even though I protect myself a lot better now than I did last April 2025, I realized my dividends, I'm actually happy with my dividends for my Wealthsimple margin account and my Questrade margin account. And I'm happy with my dividends with my TFSA in both my accounts. So I decided to make a decision that in order for me to protect my margin accounts, I decided to stop buying ETFs in my margin account and just let the dividends pay itself back. So I decided to build a joint account with my wife for many reasons. And the joint account is going to be completely separate from the margin account. It's going to be completely separate from my TFSA. So it has no impact to my buying power in my margin account. So another reason why I decided to build a joint account with my wife is because if something happened to me or if something happened to my wife, what happens to our own personal accounts? So even with the proper paperwork to get access to each other's TFSAs as a successful annuitant, it's not going to happen overnight. And if the next month's rent is due in less than 30 days, what happens if the transfer takes several months and there's no job income from the other person and there's no dividends accessible from the other person? So in order to make it easier, I actually decided to come up with a joint account with my wife, just so I can build income to pay rent easily as a long-term goal. And after that goal is achieved, then I believe I can do a mixture of trying to fund TFSA for myself. My wife will continue building up her own TFSA, and we can both continue to build the joint account as well. So right now, I'm not making my joint account very complicated. I'm only going to have a few ETFs in the account. And my main focus for building the joint account is buying shares of Biggie, BIGY, because similar to HHIS, it actually holds the Magnificent Seven, MicroStrategy, Coinbase, and a few other holdings that I can't think of on the top of my head. So as much as I want ETFs like HYLD, HDIV, or HHIS in my joint account, my main goal right now for the joint account is trying to maximize the Canadian dividend income that I can feel comfortable over time that it will pay rent. So there were times I thought about using the US listed ETFs, but there's also 15% withholding tax. And when I fill out my taxes, I think the taxes that I had to pay was even more than holding the Canadian listed ETFs for the exact same holdings. So I decided to just make it simple and focus on the Canadian listed ETFs. The US listed ETFs that I have in my margin account, I know about the 15% withholding tax. I know that there's a potential that I might have to pay more taxes. But I did like the idea of having dividends paid on a weekly basis. And with the ETFs I bought in my margin account, the dividends are pretty much paying almost every single business day. So even though the US listed ETFs like QDTE or YMAX, YMAG, even MAGI or WPay, the amounts fluctuate every single week. So I wouldn't feel comfortable as a long-term goal to pay rent with these ETFs, but I am comfortable to have a big portion of my portfolio with these ETFs. For me to feel comfortable with these US listed ETFs to pay rent, then the dividends need to be a lot higher than the actual rent itself on a regular basis. And I also need to put money aside for taxes. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you guys for watching.